Heath. Nathan has called from Glasgow. Hi, Nathan.
Hello again, Sheila. How are you?
I'm okay, yeah. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah, so just my point would be, on principle alone, although that's not that upon which I would stand, but of course we should say no. We've been led by the nose by an insane buffoon into war. Should we defend the Straits? Well, let's look at the economic arguments first. Let's not send young men and women whom the same people who cry go to war would then also decry the cost of raising these children and look at the 2-child benefit cap, etc., and say this is giving money for old rope or giving money to people who don't deserve it. But they're the same children who they'd have willingly die for them, but not their children. So for all these reasons, all crystallised, no, of course we should say no. Why on earth would we? It really is time to draw a line in the sand.
But can I be specific? Can I be specific with you? When you say, of course. We should say no, do you mean the no of 3 weeks ago, or what seems to be the no about the Strait of Hormuz as well?
Well, it was very, very correct in the way he acted. It was a breach of international law. Yes, we had to get involved and allow some use of their bases because we did have purely defensive actions to take. I have family in the military. A close relative was the military attaché for that reason for a period of time. So I understand it well. So his behaviour to now has been exemplary. His decision-making, exemplary. And of course now we should say no. Why would we get ourselves involved in this? They haven't even proved the financial case as yet. We're beginning to wring our handkerchiefs or whatever it is that lunatic Secretary of War has used an example. But let's look at the economic case. Let's look at the portable bow or whatever. Let's look at the cost of keeping our armed forces deployed for months or perhaps years on end versus perhaps a renewal of the energy price cap. Put the money to better use there and save our children. Why else would we?
We don't know that the current no about the Strait of Hormuz is going to continue. I mean, in my conversation with Emily, she seemed to be leaning towards a very strong line being maintained here, not just by Keir Starmer, she mentioned Japan and others. But let's just say this goes on month after month. It becomes 6 months. And here we are in Britain, maybe not yet experiencing blackouts, but being told you can only fill up your car once a fortnight unless you are a key worker or you're running a school or whatever it turns out to be. Essentially, petrol rationing, all rationing. So that kids can go to school, hospitals can still run and all of that. Do you think we'd feel the same about the imposition? Because do you remember at the beginning of the Ukraine war, there was a big international agreement on grain movement, wasn't there?
Yep. I do.
This is similar, isn't it?
I remember the blackouts as well.
So do I, yeah.
back in the day. So yeah, sure. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the essentials won't stop operating. So the hospitals won't stop working. So yes, we might have to restrict our movement slightly.
No, they won't. But it may come a point where you and I are having to make decisions in our house so that hospitals.
Fine. Rather than send 100 or 200 or 1,000 good people to their deaths in the name of profit, then why not? We will fill in the gaps. There is no need for it, not at this stage. And alternatives will arise. We can accelerate other programmes. We can look for alternative routes of supply.
Which programmes?
We've already got. Energy for Mr. Miliband's particular remit.
Too slow.
Why not?
It won't happen this year.
Too slow. But we have a lot of it in place already, and I think we're a bit of an extra push on.
Not enough, because if we had enough, we'd ditch oil and gas, wouldn't we? Anyway.
I agree. But however, why are we not looking at alternative supply routes at the same time?
Russia?
All of these things into play. No, why would we use Russia? No, ways of getting the oil here differently. We're already exploring it. All right, we have to go 10 days longer around the Cape of Good Horn or Cape of Good Hope. So, and what's the financial cost? Show me the balance sheet then. Show me the balance sheet that says it's impossible to maintain. Show me we can't make that effective and more efficient.
And not strip yet more money from the British.
Don't just tell me it's going to be expensive. Show me. Respect me enough to show me. So if Keir Starmer was listening now, show me. If he's going to enter into this war, show me the balance sheet. And if you can show me the balance sheet and show me that it's impossible, fine. But don't just skirt around the edges. Don't expect me to believe you.
Don't cave, is what you're telling him.
Of course not cave, no. And don't do it on a whim. Don't do it to satisfy the US.
And what's on the other side of the balance sheet? Because here's the reason I asked that question is, let's say we have a year where the journeys of every single ship, I think it's something like 3,000 a week that go through the Strait of Hormuz. Let's say for the sake of argument, every one of those ships that normally serves Britain with its oil supplies and other supplies, fertiliser is another one, that price has gone up there as well. But let's say every one of those ships has to go for 10, 15 more days to get to where it needs to be to deliver to you and me, to deliver to the UK. That cost will be passed on somehow. What's the other side of the balance sheet you want to see? What's the cost
of deploying a troops? What's the cost of deploying a battleship daily? Or
what about the cost of alleviating our lack of fuel? That's costly as well. He's already announced 53 million. When everybody, I know it is. But when the Conservatives in COVID and after the Ukraine war gave us much more serious help, obviously as it had to, the ultimate cost of that was 40 billion, which you and I and kids and grandkids will be paying off for some time. So there's all kinds of balance sheets, aren't there?
Yeah, but I don't think we should sacrifice my nephew for it. He's in the Marines. No. Why should I give his life up because some fool's earned?
Does it worry you? It worries you, does it?
Of course it worries me. Of course it worries me. It should worry any sane person.
Yeah.
Any one of these Tories or the Farages or who couldn't care less who they throw under the bus, because it won't be their family. Although they will like to talk up whatever vague alliances they have or vague involvement, some of them more less vague than others, with the military. But they're all reckless. They don't look at the alternatives, and most of it's political. All right, thank you very much, Nathan. Really interesting to talk to you, Nathan in Glasgow. Bruno